Okay, so this is how far we got last week, was this piece. So I'll show you how to do the very first row again, which is the white beads, which is the bugle beads. And that's the row that you will want to start with. So I have a piece of thread here that is probably about 3.5 feet long. That is about how long you would want your thread, is to be about 3.5 feet long. You want it to be nice and long for when you do your fringes. I find it a little more difficult if you have to add thread later on when you're doing your fringes. So I ask that you put a nice long piece of thread. And it's probably 3.5 feet. I have that on the thread. But the thing is, I'm going to work on this side of the piece of thread. So this side I have it doubled, but I let go of that piece that's doubled. And every time it gets to, the thread gets to be doubled, I want you to pull your needle closer to the end of the thread. My needle is here and the thread. I don't want to work on double thread. I want to work on a single piece of thread. So about this long, about maybe a foot down from where your needle is. I have about 1/2 foot hanging, and I have about a whole foot right there. And about a foot down, 1.5 feet from the thread is where I want to work. So I'm going to pick up my very first 2 bugle beads. You want to pick up 2?
I guess I should have threaded beforehand.
Oh, that's okay. No worries.
I find sometimes it is when you're kind of somebody's watching you, it gives you a little bit of trouble.
Just shaking.
Yeah,
That's me.
exactly. Like, oh.
Well, I'm blind too, so it's not going to help. Can't thread it.
That's how I felt last week. I was just all nervous. Oh, we're doing a beading class. And I find it so much easier too when you're like sitting with a person.
Mhm. I know I was thinking maybe like, once it gets nice out, we could do it like social distance in the park or something.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Oh, it's just a matter of threading it through the needle.
Yeah, those beading needles are hard.
So tiny. You need one of those like big old magnifying glasses, hey? That's what I need. Clip it onto my table.
I'm going to make a clean edge here.
All right. So much better this time. Look.
Oh, I think I got it through.
Can you see? This was my last one. It's terrible. Well, it's okay. But, oh, wait. There we go.
Oh, yeah. At least you're getting the hang of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll get better.
Yeah.
Okay. You can take me off.
I have a bunch of thread everywhere. That's why all my stuff was getting tangled up from all the different little pieces that I had from last week.
I hope we don't have to keep threading.
No, there'll only be another time you'll have to thread when you start the fringes.
Oh, I wish my kids were home.
I have a family leaving the house for quiet time.
I have all my kids gone. I was like, no, I want to be alone. And now I'm sorry I sent them away.
Somebody thread my needle for me.
Yeah, before you go.
I did this thing before. I'm not sure how that works, but it was like just a piece of thread, and somebody just had like a thread on their hand like that, and then they just rubbed their needle, like rubbing it, and then all of a sudden their thread was like they just rubbed their needle on there like this, and then their needle was threaded.
Yeah,
I've tried it times, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, we should learn that one.
That would be so easy. It sounds easy.
I beaded so many times, like late at night, where I couldn't even put my needle through my beads anymore because my eyes were so sore. Then all my beads started to look shiny, and then I was like, "Hey, it's bedtime. I beaded too much today." almost like when you look at your computer too long and you start to get a headache or something.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yay!
Yay.
Oh, was that any indication of how much of a beater I'm going to be?
So where you want to work on your thread is probably about from your needle. See, my needle is hanging there. I have about half a foot on this side. And then on the other side of my needle, I have about a foot. And I want to work right here, about that foot down from where my needle is. And see, that's where I'm going to put those 2 beads.
Oh, wait, I think not too much.
I'm just going to hold them right there.
So, and it's not doubled?
Nope.
No. So it looks like it's doubled, but every time it does get doubled, I'm going to ask you to pull your thread down towards the end of the thread, right? So you could just have like a little piece like this hanging off of your needle.
Okay.
You could have a little piece like that hanging off of your needle, but you'll have all like at least a foot to work with over here
I think I got
between the
way more
needle and the.
Okay.
And if you make a mistake and you start working on the long side, that's totally fine. You can always add more thread later to add the fringes.
Okay.
And we can always go back and show you how to do that. Okay, so are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so pick up 2 bugle beads.
And bugle beads would be
These long ones right here, like that.
okay.
And what you want to do is sit them side by side like that. So if you can sit them side by side, you want to go up inside the very first bead that you added, through the bottom, and come up through the top. So see, when I pull my thread tight, they're sitting beside each other like this. So if I pull them apart a little bit, you could see that the thread is just looped
Like a
around in like a circle, yeah. Holding them sitting side by side. And then when I pull that thread, it goes like that and just lets it sit beside it. Did
Okay.
everybody, okay? So now you want to go back down inside the second bead. I'm gonna go back down inside this bead, the second one you added, over top, and bring it down through the bottom. And pull your thread. And just hold your 2 beads so that they sit beside each other. And you want the thread, both of the threads coming out through the bottom like that. So it's still looped. It's still looped like that. Okay.
Okay.
And then you're going to pick up your 3rd bead.
Baby, go in the other room.
Pick up your 3rd bead.
How are you, Sheila? Are you following?
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, on your 3rd bugle bead. Oh, I think I went through the thread there somewhere. On your 3rd bugle bead that you've added. So it will be like this. So you want to sit that one beside as well. Well, you can go through the top of the 2nd bead. Go through the top of the 2nd bead and down through the bottom. Adding that 3rd bead in a loop, just like the first 2. And there's 3. And then you'll want to do the same thing with that 3rd bead. You want to go up inside it and come up through the top. So I have 3 beads sitting side by side like that.
Okay, I just finished going through the 2nd bead. So that would be the first step. And then after that, you went through the bead you just put in?
Yeah, so it's just looped like that. You're more or less just looping them into a big circle. So you're always going around and around and around like that, adding more beads into a loop.
Okay. And where should the thread end up after?
So see how this one is at the bottom here?
Okay.
This
Yep.
one be at the top after, because I'm going to add another bead right here on this thread. This is where my fourth bead is going to come in. And then when my fourth bead comes in, I'm going to go up inside that third bead again to hold it beside it.
Okay.
Hi, Felicia.
Hi.
Hi. Did you try this last time?
No, I didn't have, no, I didn't.
Okay. Should we start over again?
Okay, I got my 3 arm lengths, right? Is that how much?
3 feet for sure.
Okay.
About 3 feet.
Yeah.
And then thread your needle.
Yep.
Don't tie a knot.
Yep.
And then you have like a short side, which is probably like a foot long. And then you have your big long piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'll put 2 bugle beads on, and then you'll bring it to the middle of the long piece.
Okay.
I wonder if I should start another one.
I made a row.
Who made a row?
Good job.
Oh, nice.
Oh, she was- Good job.
Finally did it.
I'm at 3 pieces, or like with the 3 beads at the top, but I don't know what to do after that, but that's okay. I'll wait.
Okay, so who was just added? Felicia?
Yeah, Felicia.
Are
Okay.
you using the long beads or the short, or can I use short too?
We're using bugle beads only because it'll be easier. Last week, we had Jennifer try with the regular seed beads, and it was she was having a really difficult time.
Okay.
So we'll ask you to use the bugle beads to start with. And the better you go, the better you are, the better beater you get to be. Then you can start using seed beads later on.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask that
Easy mode.
you work probably about 1.5 feet from your needle. And then the other side is gonna be like a big long piece of thread where it'll probably be about 2 feet of thread. That'll cover your fringes later on.
Okay. Bugle beads. I only have the green.
So these are the beads.
I
These long ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I start with one.
You start with 2 bugle beads. So put 2 bugle beads on your thread.
Okay.
Like this. And let me know when you have them on your thread and you're ready.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to tell you is the very first bead, this is bead number 1, right? And this is bead number 2. So what you're going to do is you're going to go up inside bead number 1. And you're going to pull the thread so that bead number 2 sits beside it like that.
Okay.
You got that?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
And now I want you to go down inside bead number 2 that you added. Go inside bead number 2 and come out through the bottom. Now you want to come out through the bottom of that bead. And then these 2 will be sitting beside each other like that.
And they'll both be coming out the same end or same side.
Yeah. Can you
Okay.
see?
So you got the 2 side by side like that, threads coming
Yeah.
out the bottom. Okay,
Perfect.
pick up one more bugle bead.
Okay.
And you'll do the same thing. You'll go down inside this, go over top of the second bead and come through the bottom.
Okay.
And see, it'll just loop like that. And then when you pull it tight, it'll sit beside that second bead. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you will want to go up inside the third bead so that you can add your fourth bead.
Oh,
See?
I lost my thread.
Okay.
Yeah, mine slipped out a few times too, and then I restarted.
Yeah.
I just, or not, sorry, I didn't restart. I just put the needle back on because it slipped off.
Okay, broke my thread.
Oh, gee.
Oh,
With these bugle beads, you gotta watch not to pull too tight because they are glass, so they will cut a thread.
but yeah, if you feel like you could catch up, then we can wait a little bit too.
I can catch up, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that happened to me too because it's really sharp. Mine are really sharp too. It's almost like they're not flat on the edge. It's like they're a little bit like almost like a U shape or something.
Yeah.
Steph, like when you're doing like the little bead part, here, do you want to put me on, Chris, for a sec?
Yeah, I see it.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Okay. How high do I go? Like, and tell how many beads are there?
You'll stop when you're at 2.
2? Okay, I'm at 3, so I'll just go.
So you'll do one more row, and then after that, you'll just do the little loop where you're gonna put you'll just do the little loop as to where you're gonna put your earring hook.
Okay. Oh, I didn't bring any. Oh well, I'll get those another day. Okay.
Okay, so I'm adding the fourth bead. And remember what I said, so always make sure that, I said last week, make sure that your beads are all the same size, eh? So I see right here, even myself, I went a little bit bigger. I could see this fourth bead is longer than the other 3. You always want to be mindful to always have the size bead.
Yeah, one of mine's a little bit longer too in the
Yeah,
middle, but
because it could make your earring look a little crooked after. So
Right.
especially with bead beads, when we start to do fringes and things like that, if you're going to start with like fat beads, make sure throughout the whole earring you're using fat beads.
yeah, you know what I thought I found helpful is like finding something really flat, like how do I describe it? Like even like a book or something, and then like putting something else on top of it and looking, and then if one's like a little short. So I
Yeah,
found kind of like, okay, that one's too small. Sometimes you can just see it by looking, but sometimes it's hard to see because they're so tiny.
and also when we're doing brick earrings, it's best to do an odd number, right? An odd number always helps because you want to do those really nice fringes where they hang into like a nice little V shape.
Right.
You always want to use you always want to do an odd number with.
Oh, I never thought about that.
So people usually do like rows of 7, rows of 9, things like that. So I have 6 here, not the 7th one.
I'm just gonna keep them.
There's the very first row. Like I said, when you're doing this, it's just a continuous loop, adding beads in there.
I'm still trying to rethread. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
There.
Patience is a virtue.
And like I said, this is what we're working towards, is just the top of the earring right now.
Oh, cool.
So pretty.
So,
Oh, nice.
and see, Sarah,
Yeah.
you're at this right here.
Yeah. I just,
If you
I'll
just-
wait. I'm going to start the next little triangle for the next earring.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea, because you know what, fringes are kind of really sickening to do. I usually tell people that, like, you know, if we're gonna do brick stitch earrings, I ask you to do both of the tops first.
Oh,
And then after
okay.
both tops are done, then that's when fringes will come.
Okay.
So I can work on that while I'll give people a little bit of time to catch it.
Yeah, starting on your second one would be.
I'm gonna measure my beads this time, make sure they're real.
Yeah.
Similar.
My first one is long. It's like, looks like a little bit of like a log house or something.
It's just funny because mine are like, I wish I could show it, but it's like the edges are a little jagged. I wish I had like a little tiny sandpaper or something, because it's like they're a little bit like, I don't know how to describe it, but let me see if I can show
Yeah.
it.
Jaggedy, I understand.
Yeah.
I went
Where is
to
I don't even know where my camera is. There it is. It's not, I don't know if I can show it, but
Where did you
Yeah.
ladies get the supplies?
oh, that's a really great story. Let me tell you. So, yeah, so around, I want to say it must have been December, this really wonderful artist, her name is on Instagram, you can find her like artist name is Only Child Handicrafts. She does really beautiful earrings. She's so talented. She's from BC. She's Anishinaabe as well. And she basically, she knows so many beaders and so many people follow her. So it's almost like this community online of beaders, and really talented artist. And basically she asked to put a call out for everybody to donate their like extra leftovers. And she was going to donate the like and make kits and supply them to women who are currently incarcerated. Just as like, you know, to provide like a really nice healing sort of activity like beadwork to people that are kind of struggling right now and who are going through that challenge. And so I had reached out to her and I said, you know, just to ask her permission if, you know, if I could use a similar idea to try to collect donations to create bead kits of our own so that we could help some of the women that work with our office and the families that work with our office. And she really liked that idea. And she said, I actually have a bunch left over. I'd love to donate some. So she donated 20 kits to us. And so we've been able to give those out. And yeah, I thought that was really sweet. So I'm really excited to show her what people create and what people learn in this group. If they want to share images, I'd encourage that. If you're comfortable with that, just kind of showing your journey as you learn. And yeah, then we can kind of show all the group of beaders who donated their stuff and see what people are doing with it. I thought she'd like that. So we have a nice mixture of youth who have gotten kits and adults too. So yeah, and some elders too, which I thought was really cool. So everybody's kind of learning together. We're all starting new at different stages of our lives, but also different stages of beading. So yeah, it was really nice to give those kits out. I wish we got more. That would have been cool too. But what we're going to try to do is maybe work out a way to find some funding to build some more kits now that we kind of know what they look like. Because I think that she set a really good example of what should go in one. She put like tiny scissors and a little thimble and good thread and little medallions, so you can kind of make even flat stitch stuff. So what we're hoping to do is we'll work our way through some fringe earrings, and then we can kind of take on different projects as a group. So next time we can do flat stitch. I'm actually working on something right now, just a little like flat stitch flower, just like applique, and Steph is incredible at that too. So if whoever wants to take a journey to learn, I think I do like just one bead at a time, but I think you do like the 2 needle applique, right?
Yeah, I do 2 needle beading.
Yeah.
I'm
learning that. I'm good.
I wanted to share inside those beading kits, I noticed that there was like little pieces of wax. So
Yes.
a lot of the times when you want to bead, what the wax is good for is if before you thread, pull your thread right through that wax. Like just put it on there, pull it right through. When you do earrings like this, like the ones we're doing tonight, sometimes the earrings tend to curl right here. Hey, depending on how wide you go, right here, they'll curl. If you put your thread through that wax, it'll make it stiff.
I have a question.
For sure.
My needle fell off on the short end. Is it supposed to be on the short end?
Yeah, it's supposed to be on the short end.
Okay. Not on the long end?
No, not on the long end. The long end is for later on when you're going to add your fringes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that'll be for all the fringes when you're coming up and down and through those.
Can you put this thread through?
So yeah, mine fell off too, and then I just popped it back on the short end, and I just measured like my length again just to make sure it was as long as my like sort of my in my hand to my elbow.
Elbow, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very
I
hard.
don't think I'll make a whole another one. There's not enough for everything.
So like, we gotta make 2 of these. It's like
How many of the long beads do you want?
It'll be a pair unless you're just gonna be willing to wear one earring.
really fancy on one side.
Yeah, so each one could eat half.
Are you using 4 or 5 long beads going across?
I think there's 7, 8.
7?
7 altogether, yes.
Okay.
7?
I'll be right
Is this
back.
long enough?
4 so far until I'm still struggling with my needle.
Yeah, that should be long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not much work to be done on the top of the earring, so it doesn't take too much thread. Next time we'll give
Scissors.
threaded needles.
I love the scissors. Cute.
They look like little birds or something, eh?
I'm gonna thread about 3 or 4 needles before next class.
Make sure you have your needles ready. Did you get the first row down, Felicia? You're on mute.
Whoops. I have 5 down so far. I'm trying to get the needle back on there.
Okay,
And I'll
awesome.
do 2 more.
Okay.
And then I go with seed beads or delicas.
You're still after you're done this row, we'll do seed bead.
Okay.
If anything, if you ever use delica beads are the ones you don't really have to pick and choose through them. Almost all of them will be the same size.
Oh yeah, I was gonna make sure my beads are all the right size here.
Lee, could you find a tinier needle? Does it have to be this small?
No.
I know. I feel like we should be beading with those like big giant beads. We're learning. They actually do that at Art City. They do like a beading loom thing, but
Here,
they use
try
those like
this
big
one.
giant plastic beads.
Oh, this one.
Does anybody know how to loom bead?
No, but I want to learn.
Yeah, I would love to learn too.
Loom beading I find is like it's easy.
It looks easy. I had watch some friends do it. You just stick the beads
Yeah.
up and go through. Yeah.
Because you
Yeah,
just gotta
you just
count them,
hold it.
eh?
Hold it underneath and going over top and underneath all the rows of thread that you've laid down.
Your nails. Grab it with your nails.
I
Oh,
want
my
to let you know that say if you're adding beads on, and if you're going up inside the bead and you go through the thread, that might tangle your thread. So you always want to try hold this thread side as you're going through the bead, because you don't want to be going through the thread. It'll automatically tangle right away.
I totally missed
And-
something because mine
you'll
is
have-
loose.
Usually you could push them together. Like say if they're loose in the middle, you could push the bead beside it together and then push the one beside it closer to that one and then closer to that one, closer to that one, and then pull it tight right here.
I did that, but it looks like I missed going through one and it's like totally off. You know what I mean?
You want
How does
to, Chris? You want to spotlight her? We could check it out.
Oops.
Let's see.
Everyone's laughing.
Am I using 7?
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
it looks like you went through the thread. You know what? I would back it up. That's the good thing. Like I know you had trouble threading it, but that's the best thing that I would do is I would pull my needle off and I would
Uh-huh.
start backing my thread up. So like what I can do right here is I'm going to pull my needle off.
Oh no.
So see, I pull my needle off and then this bead here, I can go like this and I can pull that thread and I can pull that thread off and I can pull the bead off. so I can always back up my work.
Okay.
Okay, so I have
So-
7 on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
If you did make a mistake like that, that's what I would suggest, is just backing up the beadwork.
Yeah, I don't know what I did.
How many people are on?
It kind of looks like you went through the thread when you were going up inside through the bead.
So when you put a bead on, you're going up and under over the previous bead, right? And
Yeah.
then you flip on top. Yeah,
So
that's
say
good. I
I
must
have this bead hanging right there.
Yeah.
See, the thread is coming out through the bottom, but I'm gonna go through the top to add that bead. I'm gonna go through the top and make
Okay,
sure that this is looping. So it's always in a
okay.
looping constantly all the way around like that.
That's my mistake. I was going through the bottom up,
Okay,
so it wasn't looping. It was just
Yeah,
like
so-
dangling.
you always wanna go over the top and then underneath, up
Okay,
through the bottom, and then it'll sit beside the other bead.
got it. Now you'll have to just keep going because you're gonna wait forever for me to thread this.
Is anybody ready for the second row?
So I was gonna say, the good thing is too, is that, if you feel like you want to catch up later and keep going afterwards, we're gonna put a video up too, and it will be up, I think, tomorrow. Hey, Chris?
Oh, that'll be good, because then if the parts we get stuck on or missed, then we can just always go back and, oh, that'll be
Yeah,
good. That'll be really
that's
good.
kind of what I did too, is I went back and I was like, okay, where did I go wrong? And that helped.
Yeah. That's how I am. I have to
And then-
see something 2 or 3 times before I get it.
For sure.
And then
No, that's
also,
totally
if you
fair.
got that booklet, it's really helpful too, because if like you can see it and then you can
Yeah.
look at the booklet to help
Mhm.
visualize it more.
If you need that too, we can send you that. If you don't have it,
I have it.
you do. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think some people got it and some people, like, I think we gave them out, but I think some people were registered without a kit, so I wanted to make sure everyone got it too. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm ready, Steph, and we can wait if someone else needs to. I got my 7 beads, and I think I'm on the right side now. So I have one coming up from the top and one coming up from the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Felicia, are you ready? Okay, so you want to pick up your very first bead. That'll be the bead that you want to be your solid color. So on here, mine was blue.
Okay.
On these ones I'm working on, my very solid color is going to be the turquoise. So I'm going to add 1 turquoise bead here. Okay, so here is my turquoise bead. And what I'm going to tell you is to come in between these 2 beads right here,
That
but
little loop?
underneath that thread. Yeah, underneath the thread, but between the beads. I want you to be in between the beads.
Okay. So like underneath that little loop that's connecting to the second last bead.
Yeah,
Okay. And we pull it toward us.
yeah, and pull it up towards you.
Okay.
And this bead is going to sit there like that. I'm going to ask you to pull your thread this way, hold it, and then come up underneath that bead.
Underneath the little colorful bead that we're adding.
Yeah, so
you
this is
go-
what it's going to look like when I'm pulling it.
Okay, I'm gonna pull mine up and make sure. Okay, yeah.
See, it's the thread that's going to be holding this bead on.
And you're gonna go up underneath it. So okay, so
That the thread
little-
under, yeah, this
Okay.
little thread here that's looped right there, that's what's going to hold your next row on.
oh,
So you want to go in between those beads, but underneath that thread.
oh. This thing got all. Well, that must be my wax on my thread. It looks all crazy.
Probably.
I was like, is that string? No, it's all good.
Okay, I have my first turquoise bead there.
Okay.
I'm going to add a black bead.
This is probably a stupid question, but when you're saying all your beads should be the same size, you mean like all your colors, not just one color, right?
Yeah, every color, all of them. That's why I say if you choose, I usually, if I start an earring, I'll say, oh, I'm going to use all fat beads. So I'll
Okay.
pick all fat beads. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm going to use all skinny beads, and make sure you use all the thinnest beads you have.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay, I missed the first part again. Sorry.
The first part of the turquoise bead.
Yeah. I have a bead on. Can you see that?
Of course, it's got to be the last one I picked up, eh? Yeah, of course.
And first mine's got a tangle.
See?
So it's just sitting there right now, right? And then mine tangled a bit here. Back to where it was.
So I'm keeping a little like bead on my little mat here that I'm wanting all my other beads to be the same sizes, and I'm putting it on my needle and looking at them. Is that a good way to kind of measure? I'm just like, that looks the same.
Yeah. Sometimes too, if I have to pick and choose through my beads, I like to have a big assortment.
Ooh,
Like,
okay, yeah, I have
or
some
a
few
whole
filled
bunch.
out here.
That way I don't have to like worry about like
Right.
picking and choosing. I just look at them and then there's a, oh, there's a fat bead. Oh, there's a fat bead.
Oh,
That way, the more you have sitting out, the more you don't have to really pick through them.
right.
Okay, Felicia. So this little bead is sitting right there. I want you to go in between these two bugle beads, but underneath that thread. I want that thread to hold my bead on. So I'm going to pull this through there, and the thread is what's going to hold it on. And my bead is just sitting there like this, right? So I'm going to go up inside that bead.
I think I screwed this one up a little bit. Hold on a second here.
Up inside the bead. Right on this side. Oh. Almost made boo-boo there. My thread was on the wrong side.
I just did that. I think I have to re-thread right now.
Yeah, my thread is being sickening.
Yeah, mine is too. It's all fuzzy. Can you not?
Do you guys have like the cotton thread or the nylon thread?
I have nylon thread.
Because yeah, that's what I'm using, and it's really good. Then it doesn't break very easily.
I don't know what this is actually. That's a good question. It doesn't
probably
say
a
anything
cotton
on it.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
it-
cotton one.
Okay.
The nylon's got the black. You wanna see-
Ah, that is a good tip. I'm learning.
Yeah, I'll show you.
I got. Okay, wait, where is it? Where'd you get that from?
The trading post, because I have like that white one too. But
Yeah.
that's the one that breaks.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
should be very careful.
So what do you even use that white cotton one for, anyways, Steph?
The
like
white
to
cotton thread is for sewing.
If you like to
Why
live
are
on
they
the edge
so
like
big?
me, okay.
I would only use cotton thread for sewing.
I like to
Oh.
live dangerously. Okay. Just kidding.
Okay, my bead got all tangled up there because I was going through, my thread was going through thread.
Oh. Okay, so if you wanted to go ahead, you just do the same technique to put the second bead on.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Okay,
that should be
here-
black now, eh?
Okay, here I go. Here's my bead. Okay, so there's my poise bead.
Mhm.
And I want to go in between these two beads, but underneath that thread.
And you're coming from the back of like the little row, right? So you're going back, coming underneath the two, pulling toward you, right?
And then when that little bead is sitting there, there's going to be a thread on this side. I want to go up inside that bead.
Underneath again.
Yeah, underneath the bead so that it goes like this and it sits right on top.
Oh. On top of the turquoise one or on top of the long
On
black
top of
one?
the white one.
It's like a bridge.
My bugle beads are white, so
Oh, right. Okay. Okay, let me try this. Let's see that.
see,
'Cause
this is
it's like-
this is the second bead. I have a black bead. I'm gonna come in between those beads, but underneath that thread.
How the heck? Something, whenever I do this, it looks like, I'm gonna show you.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, so I'm gonna,
Okay.
so it's like it's not sitting flat.
Oh,
Back
you
up
gotta
just a
go
little
up
bit.
through it.
Back up
I
just
am-
a little bit.
It
Oh,
looks
sorry.
like take the whole bead off. I would take
Okay.
the whole bead off.
Okay.
Back
Because
it
I
up.
was having that problem last time too.
Like
Yeah,
how
it's
I
like-
said, back it up.
Okay, hold on a second here. Okay, I'm gonna rethread again. Pull the bead off.
Yeah, and see how I have this one sitting there? It's in between the beads, but underneath that thread.
So when it's coming from the top, so it should be coming from the top of your colored one now, right? Like it should be coming from the top
Yeah.
of this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I'm gonna
another-
rethread. Let me
Then
just
add your next bead.
okay. Oh, I think that's where I went wrong. Hold on. These little
Yeah.
teeny tiny.
I was going sometimes like I think you can either like go above through the thread, the one, or this way. You have to go this way.
Sorry.
I think I was messing up and I was going this way.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I went through the, oh, okay. I was like, that's the bottom, but I think it's because it slipped.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta
Ah.
watch that. That's what I was having problems with.
Tried to
And
pull a
your
fast
thread-
one on you.
oh, your thread always has to come up over the top of the bead. So that you're, like these ones too, you're always looping it. going-
Okay, so when you're saying the bottom, you mean like like what's facing down, not like what you think is the bottom when it's going onto the thread, you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta
Yeah.
like go from the bottom up.
Okay. That makes sense. Because I was like, why is that coming out the wrong way? Sorry, I cannot get this bloody thread back on here. Cotton thread. Now that I know who you are, I'm very mad at you.
Notice if I had a black background would be the best thing, hey? Just because of the colored beads and whatnot, like,
Right. Yeah, if it was like almost like flat, like either black
Yeah.
or white, whatever is easier to
yeah,
see.
I need a different background.
Oh, you know what? I think this hole is jammed. I gotta. Oh, I see. I see what you're up to here. There we go. Okay. Well, thank you for your patience.
Like I said, beading is patience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
should have called it that, eh? Beading is patience.
no
Yeah.
kidding.
Who wants to learn patience? Come join us.
Patience 101.
That was one of my main thing at first was that I would always like, am I going to go back and finish it or am I just going to leave it aside? Some of my
Right.
first few practices, I just practiced and then I threw them aside and I still have them today. And then I look at them and I'm like, ew, who made that? Ugly. Even a few times people have been wearing my earrings. I'm like, who made those? And they're like, you did. I'm like, oh. Tell
Like,
it
oh,
when I
we're
first
sick.
started. It was,
Okay, so
And it's
now I'm.
I shouldn't even be unhappy with my work.
It's so funny, hey.
And you should have been
know.
proud.
One of my cousins is a really fantastic artist. He's so good, so like realistic, and he does this really beautiful traditional art. And then like he had these really nice drawings he left at my granny and my grandpa's house. And I always like looked at them, and then I'd be like, "Oh, those drawings are so nice." She's like, "Oh, those are awful," and he always talked like badly about them. I'm like, "What? They're so nice." It's just everybody's so judgmental toward their own work after a while, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I did wrong. Okay, come on now, don't be shy.
And I find throughout the years, a lot of people have made it more like of a competition. I found a lot of the times there's like a lot of people that don't want to share
Right.
their like what they know. And it's like, how are we going to keep these things going, these teachings and all this stuff going if we don't want to share? Like, you know,
Right.
I don't need to be paid for somebody to, like,
Yeah.
for me to teach them to bead. Like, we're like right now we're doing this out of our own time, right? Like, it's not during work hours or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're not using work hours to do this program. We're using our own free time.
Okay, so it's almost like a loop now with the small beads, eh? So you're doing
Yeah.
the same sort of style of loop, but with the little beads instead of the long ones, eh?
Okay,
Okay.
so you're on your second bead, right?
Yes.
So that's where I am right now. So I
Okay.
have that one coming down. And I'm going to pull this through this thread. So see, it's gonna come and sit right beside the other bead like that. See?
Nice. I'm gonna go back to the big
Yeah.
one.
Up through the bottom.
Yes. Okay, that's where I went wrong. I was going through the top.
Yeah.
In there, you want to go up through the bottom of that bead.
So the next color would be your orange or red or whatever.
So for me, mine is going to be red.
Okay.
2 red beads for me next.
How many colors altogether do you have there? 6?
I have 6. I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 colors. Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna do my 2 red ones. Go in between, but under the thread. And you have to make sure that this thread is kind of pulled to the back. So that might be something that might have confused you too as well, because it would kind of loop around the bead, right?
Right.
See, look at this right here. See, it's almost looping around my bead, and I have to take my thread through that loop and pull it to the back so that it doesn't tangle. So it doesn't tangle anything.
So you said like it should
And-
be a little bit loose right now, but it will tighten as you kind of keep making rows, right?
This row, this is the row where you want to pull a little tighter.
Okay.
This row will make this very first row a little bit tighter that when you pull on these ones.
Okay. So I'm noticing right now, like my first bead, my little like color bead that my whole earring is gonna be
Mhm.
is like hanging over a little bit on the edge. Is that bad?
And that would be this one right here,
Yeah.
this turquoise one.
Yeah.
How does it look?
Let me just pull it tight 1 second. It just looks like I don't know if you could see. Can you see that?
Wait.
It just looks like it's hanging over the edge a little bit.
Yeah, I remember that happened last time. You know what I think it is? I think it is that your beads are big. Remember
Okay.
I was saying that? I think that your seed beads are just a little bit bigger and wider. Remember how I told you pick and choose through your beads if you want fat beads? You probably
Right.
picked a fat bead, right?
Yeah. I think
That's
I was like, I'll pick fat beads. That'll be easier, but I think they're a little bit fatter than my bugle beads.
That is probably why, yeah, because
Okay.
it's fatter than your bugle beads.
Okay. I'm gonna push it over and hopefully it smartens up. Okay.
I'm gonna add my black bead.
So you should have
And
one
so
year
on
of
this
your
side
color.
too, you want to hold a little
Okay.
bit tight that it doesn't start loosening up on the other side. You want to hold this thread right here. Because I could already feel mine kind of loosening up on that
Yeah.
side.
Okay, that's the wrong size.
Sarah, you just munching away.
Okay, here's first and second rows.
Oh, shucks, did I
And
do
see
it
how on
again?
see how on the top of these beads, you can see that thread there? It's always the thread that's going to hold down your beads. It's not going to be any other beads holding down your beads. It's always going to be this thread right here. When
I
you
did
go
that thing
under-
you just said, where you made a loop around it. I just did that.
Oh yeah.
Baby.
You're always gonna want to go underneath that thread. And the thread is what holds your beads on.
Okay, I'm gonna undo this. Start.
Hi, Shirley. We got a new one.
There's 2 Shirleys. Nice.
Oh, wait. No, Sheila and Shirley.
Hi,
Hello.
Hi.
I'm lost. Just kidding.
Who's that?
Is that Sheila?
That's Shirley. I'm just joining now.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. Come on, don't let me down. I just made myself a little loopy knot, so I'm back in business here. Just got to rethread here. Dee-dee-dee. Don't fit. Yeah, nylon thread. That's on the shopping list tomorrow. My other one will probably just look so nice. What?
Like I said, those little things of nylon thread will go for probably about $7
Okay.
at the fabric. Sometimes you can get it at the fabric store, the bead store, things like that. But this is what you're looking for.
Ah,
They have them in white and they have them in black.
it
And
looks
this-
a lot shinier, I think, too, than mine.
This little one goes for about like $6 or $7.
Okay.
And then they have like, remember how I showed you last week, my big one here that I have? This one
Yeah.
is huge. That one goes for probably about $20.
So Shirley, you're gonna want like about like 4 to 3 feet of thread. And then once you thread your needle, you're gonna probably have like a foot on one side of the thread. So it's gonna look like right.
Steph.
Yep.
Should the second row have 7 beads too?
No, the row will have 1 bead less. Time
1
we
bead
move up-
less.
Every time we move up a row, it will be like say the first row is 7 beads, and it'll be 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay. I'm gonna try to push this over because it's almost like it wants to be like more to one side than the other. So I'm trying to like balance it out with this bead. I wonder like if I added another bead, could that fix it or would that make it worse?
It might fix it when you get to the 3rd row and then you start pulling everything together. It might fix it.
Okay, so just let it be sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep going.
Also, right, it's a learning lesson. Later you might find out, you know, what you did. You made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, I think what happened was I bought some beads and I thought I had size 11s already, and I think I bought size 10,
Mm.
and that's a little bit bigger. So I think that's what's happening right now.
Remember, that's what I was saying about last week. Remember, it was that I bought these beads. I bought these black bugle beads,
Yeah,
and I had thought like, you know, oh, I'll make them like black, like the other ones that I had. And I have these black bugle beads that
yeah,
I black and white. Look at how much bigger the white ones are than the black ones.
yeah. Like my
Then-
beads are gigantic.
And then the hole inside here is very tiny. Like I wouldn't be able to go up inside that bead 2 times with the thread.
Right.
So I had to choose the white beads over the black.
Okay, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna finish like my top row apparently, and you're gonna laugh at how funny this looks. It's gonna be hilarious.
Mhm.
I went to the trading post and they have like those tiny short bugle beads. So I don't know where you can get like the big long ones. don't
I
know.
thought these were the smallest, but I think I'm wrong because I'll show you what's happening here, and you can have a laugh because it looks pretty funny right now.
Are you thinking of those long bugle beads that are like maybe 1/4 of an inch kind of thing?
Yeah.
I'm not
I would
sure. I just
probably-
remember them being longer when I was little.
Hey, look at this.
Oh, wow. I wonder, are mine that big too? Great.
You have 8 beads on the first row.
I only have yeah, I only have 7, but they're just really big, I guess.
Yeah, they must be really big.
Holy.
I tell people sometimes when we find those really big beads, they're granny beads.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, when you get older, you have a hard time to see, so they kind of use the bigger beads. And then
Yeah.
sometimes when we go to powwows or whatever, and then we're like looking at beadwork, and I'm like, oh, Cuckoo made this.
You can tell by the
bigger.
size.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, the beads are big. I'm like, a Cuckoo made this.
That's so cute. Okay, well, I guess if I was gonna like work with what I have this size, should I like,
I see Felicia has some. Hers looks good.
let's see?
Hey,
Oh,
what do I do next?
dang, that looks
Are you
great.
Two beads?
I see on that very last row.
Yeah, I'm on the.
You want to add the cookies on that row, right?
What's
So
that?
you want to. I see you have one bead there.
Yes.
So you should have beads on that very last row. So
Two?
it'll go, yeah, it'll go 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. And then you'll stop at 2.
Okay.
Okay, I think I gotta get working here because I don't have mine going to the loop as to where Felicia is.
Okay, yeah, get going and I'll figure out if I should keep working with these or not.
2.
I'm gonna work to get to where you are, Felicia,
Okay.
so that I can show you what to do.
Okay, I picked, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. Do you
I'm
just need
just
like this
staring
much
for later.
on the one end? A foot on one end? Both right there, yeah. A little bit, yeah, a little bit more.
Mine.
And then you grab your
Oh,
4 beads. Your 4.
careful. Eat your fries.
What color? Yeah. You can use these kinds. Do you want to use these
Fast
kinds?
you're going.
Yeah. We'll give you a bite. Mhm.
Everybody's so quiet right now.
Yeah.
Concentrating on the bead.
Bead.
I wonder if maybe I added one more, but would that throw it off? If I like to try to work with the size, or should I just like, what do you think?
No, I think that's
What if I
It's
came up
just
through
not-
this-
it's your bugle beads. Last week it was like you having trouble not having bugle beads.
I know.
And then this
I'm-
week the trouble of the bugle beads.
You know, okay, you know what happened too is I asked for them and I was like, I just need like the small ones, like whatever the smallest size is for bugle beads. And she's like, I don't know, I don't work with the staff. And then she gave me those. That was a bad sign.
I have to leave, ladies. Is it 5:30 next week, same time?
Yes.
Yeah.
All righty.
And we'll probably send a video too. I
Okay,
think,
that'll
right?
be good. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I want
for
to
sure.
finish off.
And who is leaving? Sheila?
Sheila. Yeah, my
Okay.
baby's home, so I can't concentrate.
That's okay. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thanks for this. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, I'm at my last beads on this row.
Okay. Well, I know how to make a row, so that's exciting. Thank you, Steph. I appreciate that. I just got to get the right size. I was
I
gonna
know
buy
the last time I just kept like visualizing it in my head as I was falling asleep, and then all of a sudden it just happened.
Nice.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just
Okay,
pulling
see,
off my,
I'm at
my
the
row
point where
here.
Sheila is, where I only have the 2.
Yeah.
Felicia,
Are you there, Sheila?
that's Felicia.
Felicia, okay.
Okay, I'm there too.
I'll ask you to pick up 6 beads
Oh,
of the of whatever your solid color is, whichever one you want to use as your solid color. Mine is turquoise, so I'm going to pick up 6 turquoise beads.
Okay.
Everybody ready?
Yep.
That's your loop. So this is where your loop is going to come in, or your loop is going to come in for your earring. So I'm going to ask you to go down through that second bead again. Down in there. It's coming out there. You want to go down inside there. And you
how
know
many?
what?
Okay.
I added
6.
6.
You said 6?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down through the bead on the end right here.
Okay.
So see where those ones are? This is part of the 3rd row on the very end turquoise bead.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Oh,
the
you
row,
made it.
yeah. So the
Oh.
just underneath that, I'm going to go through that this black bead right here. So what I'm doing is more or less I'm working my way through this top piece around here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through
So is
this
that
black.
right beside it?
Pardon me?
Technically? Is that right beside it?
Yeah, it's underneath.
Oh, it's underneath.
So we went through this turquoise bead right here,
Yeah.
and then right underneath it, on the row underneath it, we're going through that black bead
Okay.
on where the 4th row, where the four beads are.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's the second one
And
there.
that's the second one in.
Yeah.
I'm not using the colors, so I'm just.
Okay. So go through that bead and then come up through the bead right beside it.
Okay.
So see, we went through that bead. Now I went through that bead. Now I'm going up through the bead right beside it.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm doing this is because I want to get back up to this loop here and I want to double it.
Okay.
I want to
Okay.
pull my thread in there because I don't want it to be loose, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't want my earring hook to fall off of there so easily. I don't want the thread to break on this loop when I have my earring hook in there when I'm wearing my earrings.
Okay.
So more or less, we're just working our way back up to this whole loop thing here.
Okay.
However, you can work yourself away through those beads just to come back up and loop it one more time. That way the thread inside there is doubled because you don't want your earring hooks to break. So see, I came up through there again. Now I'm going to go back down in here again. That way my thread is doubled in there in where my earring hook is going to be.
Okay.
After that, I usually go through the middle bead. I'll go through that middle bead. And usually what I do is I just start working my way through the beads.
Thank you. Back down.
Yeah, back down, work your way back down through the beads.
And then where do we end up?
Anywhere you want to go, say I'm going to go in here.
Yep.
I'm going to go in this bead. And I'm pull it tight. It is wrapped around my earring. I'm just going to pull it in there. And then my turquoise bead beside it, I'm going to go up inside there. And see sometimes how the edge beads look a little crooked on the side here. Just start going up inside them.
So it doesn't really even matter where you're going.
No, it doesn't matter. You're just working your way through the beads. That way, you know, say the end, you want your thread to end somewhere, right? Because you don't want to, I don't cut my thread. I mean, I don't knot it anywhere.
Oh.
So usually I'll just work my way up inside beads, up and down and through them and whatnot.
So is that just to like stabilize it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also so that your thread doesn't like come apart, like your earrings don't come apart.
Right.
So
Okay.
see, I have my whole top done right there.
Oh wow.
And my thread is coming out right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna cut it.
Mm.
And there's
Is
my
that
whole
what
top.
Is that why people keep lighters around?
Yes, and that's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna burn this. I'm gonna burn this. Nylon thread is so good because when I burn this, it's gonna melt it. It's gonna melt it, and then when I burn it, it's gonna like be a melted end right here. And then usually I just use my nail and then I just poke it inside there and it stays there. And you can't even tell where I started and where I began my earring.
What? Okay. I definitely need to get a new thread.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just grab a lighter.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I wonder what do you have the right size there, Sarah? What size do you have?
I have 10s.
What the hell are these?
okay, so
Maybe you got like an
there's
11.
my
Crazy.
thing,
Are yours
and I'm
big?
just-
or
Well, I think
small?
11s are smaller than 10s.
Okay, so you probably got 11s.
These are probably like 9s or something because they're really big.
Oh, okay.
you
9s
see
are
where I
8s.
burnt it? I burnt it. It's right.
Oh
in there.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Right there.
And you just tuck its little. Oh. Well, I like
There we
those colors
go.
together.
The top is done.
Cool.
Nice.
And so now I have two tops.
Oh,
Right on.
okay. I got to finish my other top. Well, I just got to finish that little loop-de-loop thing.
That's a good little like homework thing. We can like watch the video and finish our second side. I gotta start over, but now I know what to do. Before that was a little jumbled up.
How was yours, Felicia? Awesome.
Nice. Oh, that looks great.
I love those colors.
I like the colors.
Yeah.
A little bit crooked, but
Yeah, practice, like, you know, even throughout the week, if you want to practice too before our next one, then you can always do that. Try
Yeah.
another one. Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna have to
find that
practice too.
sometimes, like when we do the very first one, like I can even look at mine right here. This one that I just did is but the first one I did, it looks way better.
Wow. 37 too. This time it like flew by.
Yeah.
Is it already 7?
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so next week we'll be able to finish the fringes.
Mhm.
Woohoo.
It's
So
exciting.
next week will be a lot about counting the beads too, right? Because the fringes are a lot about counting.
Okay.
Because then, like, you know, you're looking at the beads, you're gonna have to count. I want five blue beads on this row. I want 5 blue beads, like 12 white beads, and blah blah blah, and then 10 black beads, 10 blue beads, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot of counting next week with the beads.
Okay. Awesome.
You can if you want to.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steph. That was great. I feel like I learned a lot. That really helped me get on track from last week. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited to practice.
Okay. Thank
Okay, so-
you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions.